For the following sections on web application exploitation, we have provided a development instance of a test server to practice attacks before moving over to the actual production web server. To set up the test environment, you will need to install Apache 2, PHP, and the environment files. Follow the steps outlined below. Truly, just follow these steps. I already followed them. I will show you one that might trick you up is maybe the configuration file, but let me see if I even have all my stuff up there. So if we open this up, so you can see this is our nicto.h scanner that we were running, not to like squirrel and jump around, but you can see it found this in robots.txt, return a non-forbidden or redirect HTTP code, so we can see it's giving us the full version. We see robots.txt contains 21 entries. We see Apache 2.4.29 appears to be outdated. It is end of life for the branch, blah, 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 blah. Okay? If we locate Apache, and you can see there's a bunch of Apache stuff obviously here that are going to come pre-installed on Linux. If I scroll down. But here it is right here, what amoeba percent. What happens to your leg stretching breaks? Balance hacking is important. I know, dude, when I take... So, I probably should. Here's what I've noticed, though. I really dislike having my train of thought interrupted. So, like, when I'm focusing on something, I don't like having to stop for 5 minutes. But it is probably good practice to take breaks. But I'll take one soon. I just don't have a timer set because I just don't like taking breaks when I'm focused on something. Like when I'm in the zone, I don't like doing that. So if you download Apache, we're going to install Apache 2 PHP, which I already did that. Edit our configuration file. So the wget, when you grab this stuff down, you're going to move it to var www/html, okay? That's where you're going to move those files to in order to run it properly. So that's one thing that might trip you up. Make sure, once again, when you download this is the file location. Move it to this file location. I mean, there might be other ways to just run it locally, but that's how I did it. And then we need to edit our configuration files to use port 8080, which I think, just the way I found that, I'll even show you like live in real time, the importance of Google, right? I just type I think I just did that. And we can see that there's an Apache 2.conf, right? So if we locate that, we have a few things there, right? I need to turn my music down a little bit. It got too loud, at least for my ears while I'm concentrating. So let's glance at both of these. This is the main Apache server configuration file that contains the configuration directives that give the server its instructions. I'm going to look what Amoeba Man just said. It is a good rabbit hole avoiding technique, but yeah, it breaks your thought process. Though for rabbit holes, that's a good thing during CTFs. Just give your brain time to catch up on all the information you have found. You know, that's an excellent point, because I've even noticed, like in work, like my real job, the one that pays me on like Twitch, when I'm stuck on something, I can be really stuck on it, right? And then I just step away. Often it's at night, like I'm done for the day, and I'm doing something completely unrelated, and my brain's processing things, right? And all of a sudden a solution pops in my head. So I suppose that's true with breaks as well, like just stepping away for a little bit and allowing your mind to process, especially if you get stuck, right? If you're stuck, that's probably a really good practice to step away. And honestly, it's probably a good practice to build it into my time, and maybe we'll eventually get back to that. Maybe when I get stuck, we'll build it in. But here is the Apache configuration file. I think all I did was look for port. Oops, didn't mean that. So look at this. Ports.conf is always included from the main configuration file. It is supposed to determine listening ports or incoming connection. So I read that and I was like, oh, okay. Look at that. gedit etc Apache 2 ports.conf. So right, so just do a little bit of investigative work, And remember what it said. It said it wants you to listen on port 8080, right? So that's all you do. You find this and you set that to listen. I believe that's all I had to do anyways. I don't know if it walks you through that or not, or if that was just my own discovery. Yep, and then we're going to start Apache, right? So systemctl start Apache 2. Okay. And now, if we open up our handy-dandy web browser, we can close some of these out for now. Look at that. We are hosting our own Apache 2 web server right now, right here on localhost. Now, if we go to robots.txt, disallow PHP info. Now, just so you understand, because this will be helpful for you if this is new at all to you. Even if it's not new, it's helpful to me. If we do ls on here, we can see the files here, right? So we can go to index.html, debian, index, lfi.php, rce, right? So local file inclusion, remote code execution, robots.txt. We have the secret directory. And we have cat pics, pizza, png, right? So if we go back to our machine, that's all the web server is, right? Secret dirt, was that what that was? Yeah. Hello world. I'm actually really hungry. That looks really good, to be honest with you. That cat doesn't look as tasty, but maybe if I was hungry enough. All right. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys, right? So we're hosting this right now from here, and that's what a web server is. It's hosting different pages up, essentially, right? Often Linux, sometimes Windows with IIS. But let's go back to what it's going to ask us to do. What is this? Vulnerability? Now that you understand the file structure and infrastructure behind the web server, you can begin attacking it. Based on the technical errors and misconfigurations found on the web server, we can assume that the developer is not highly experienced. Use the information that you've already identified from asset discovery to move through the attack methodically. From OWASP, local file inclusion, also known as LFI, is the process of including files that are already locally present on the server through the exploiting of vulnerable inclusion procedures implemented in the application. LFI can be trivial to identify, typically found from parameters, commonly used when downloading files or referencing images. Remember, img.php or whatever it was before. Example, and it has it right there. To exploit this vulnerability, we need to utilize the attack known as directory traversal. From PortSwigger, directory traversal, also known as file path traversal, is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to read arbitrary files in the server that is running an application. This vulnerability is exploited by using a combination of .. and sequence to go back to the web server's root directory. So just think in Linux, cd, and then you do that. From here, you can read any files that the web server has access to. A common way of testing proof of concept for LFI is reading etc password, which, contrary to what it sounds like, doesn't actually give the password, but it does give the users. The passwords for Linux are in etc shadow. Find an example below from the test environment. In the above example, the $file parameter is a parameter that we exploit to gain LFI. This is the entire concept of LFI. For the most part, LFI is used to chain to other exploits and provide further access like RCE. However, LFI can also give you some helpful insight and enumerate the target system depending on the access level web server. An example of using LFI to read files is finding an interesting file while fuzzing. However, you get a 403 error. You can use LFI to read the file and bypass the error code. Okay, cool. So let me show you guys this in practice. We know that we have cat pics, right? We go like here. We also know we have all these different ones. We have, is it just LFI PHP? Is that going to be our way, I'd assume? Whoops. File does not exist, right? Oh, did I do that wrong? I should grab, I may get my syntax wrong a little bit. PHP file equals, well, let's try to do, well, there's cat pics. Let's try cat pics. Maybe it doesn't do it for like something simple like robots.txt. Is that not? See, I don't think I even did this on my own web server. Once I had it set up, I just went straight to the machine we're supposed to attack. It's not image.php. Ours would be the lfi.php, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we need file. What am I doing, y'all? We need file. We need to specify that we're looking for a file. See? There we go. Hello world. And let's see if we can read my own. It doesn't really matter how many of these you do, right? Well, I mean, it does. You got to do a few. And look at that. We can read the Etsy password of my machine. We can see we got Callie there, right? That's my main account. So, whoops. Cool, right? So if we consider all this, hopefully things are beginning to click in your mind. So if we go back and look at this, let's remember that we have, whoops, what the fuzz? We have this. Secret directory / creds.txt. And we have image.php. Hopefully it's clicking in your head how we can use image.php !file equals to access this because it's on the web server, right? Let me show you guys. Let's go to our dev.hololive. I already forgot what it was. Image.php, right? Yeah, so if we just do nothing, right? We got the Etsy password of the web server. And look, we know it's running MySQL. I bet we'll be accessing that later. We got www data, right? That's a standard service account for the web server. But what was the creds called? You guys remember? Creds.txt, right? How do I forget that? Oh, we have to specify the full path, sorry. If we specify the full path, we should be able to read those creds. I know you forget things, so I'm leaving this note for you. Admin DB manager login, right? Username, password. What do we do, my friends, when we find that? We'll record it in our handy dandy notebook. I feel like Blue's Clues. Yeah, my cat feels like Blue's Clues too behind me meowing. There we go. We got some creds, y'all.